Mhm.
All right, hey everybody, and we are live. How you doing, Pierson? Everybody, this is my guest co-host for the week, my son Pierson. He goes by Pie King, son of Dojo. How are you,
Gotta
Pierson?
rep the brand. I'm doing good, Dad. How are you doing?
Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm doing great. This is great that you're with us this whole week and you have the opportunity to be right down the hall here and on my show. I appreciate you being here for this pre-Christmas family night. And that's the great theme that we've got going on tonight. We have Mark and Chase Poulton, who will be talking to us about some projects that they've worked on together. We've got Bill and Cat Mouse, who are on the show tonight, and they'll be talking about things that they've done together. So that's some fun that we're going to have. And let's see. Let's go ahead and bring them into the show. I'll bring up Mark and Chase. Hey guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Fun. And let's have Bill and Kat on. Hi guys. Oh, you're mute.
Oh. In the void already.
All right. Hey, now you can hear us. Hey, everybody.
Yes. Hi.
I know how to work a button.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to you this time, Dad.
Yeah, well,
Brian, Mark,
it's early yet. So tonight we're going to talk about the projects that we've worked on together, collaborating with family members. And, Pierson and I were talking before the stream started that there have been some really big names in comics who have worked together, like the Romitas, John Romita Sr. and then later Jr., both of them, huge names in Marvel Comics. I know the Buscema's were both involved. I think they were brothers. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Bill and Mark. Were Sal and is it John Buscema?
Yeah, I believe so. They were brothers.
Okay, yeah.
So artists.
Yeah.
I always say Bushima. I've said it wrong for years.
Really? No, I don't know.
I said Buscemi's because that's a restaurant.
I know.
Buscemi's is a really popular Italian restaurant in this area. We're up in the Detroit area. Also, too, there was a pair of brothers who started out as fine art painters who touched on comics a little bit, and that was the Hildebrandt Brothers. They did a huge card set that it featured a lot of the Marvel characters for Marvel back in, I believe it was the 90s, before one of the two passed away. So I thought that was, worth mentioning that they, my first exposure to them was a book that I'd read called Ursharak, where they were both co-writers and co-artists in that book. It was a science fiction fantasy novel and really turned me on to the Hildebrandt Brothers. Man, their paintings were almost like photographs. They were so photorealistic. They did a really great job. So what we'd like to do then is we are going to bring up some projects that these folks have worked on and talk about them. They may not be able to be backed right now, but they'll give us a flavor for what they do when they work together and then what they've got coming on in the future. So we'll start with you, Mark and Chase. I will bring up my screen like this. Wait, let me fix it.
Vortex.
The Echo Land.
Well, you're working on a lot of stuff.
Now you're huge. There we go.
There we go. Okay, so now, bam! Is it showing like it should?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this Facebook page here, Mark and I were saying before the show that he hasn't posted to it recently, but this is a great example of some of the stuff he's worked on with Chase. So Mark, you want to walk us through this?
Yeah, sure. So right at the top, A Cat Named Haiku, that's a children's book series I did. And Chase was always interested in the comics I made and being a part of it. I actually have a copy of A Cat Named Haiku right here. He did a pinup for me when he was 4 years old. That was his first published work.
Wow, that's great.
There it is right there.
That's good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So
very cool.
Yeah. So he always had an interest, and I always say he's the brains of the operation. He comes up with the really good ideas. We were out to dinner, I think, when he was, I think you were 4 years old. We were having pizza, and he said, "Dad, I know where pizza comes from." And I was like, "Oh yeah, where?" And he says, it's simple. You take a slice of pepperoni, you plant it in the ground, and a pizza tree grows from it. And I instantly thought that was the most amazing idea ever. And I was like, that has to be a book. And unfortunately, the way indie projects sometimes go, getting those projects completed takes forever. So Chase was 4 when he came up with the idea, but it didn't come out until he was 7 years old. And
Okay.
Pizza Tree, and that's the inspiration for our company name, Haunted Pizza. But the book did fantastic. It was nominated for a Ringo Award. It won a Moonbeam Award, and it came from his mind.
You can see here, Mark and Chase on the screen here, Haunted Pizza logo. We've got the pizza, the pepperoni in the background here behind your names. Let's see though. Do we have something about Pizza Tree on here? Let me see here.
I don't know. We should.
Lots of the wrestling.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, right there. Yep.
there you go.
Pizza
There it is.
Tree. Ooh, it's even a scary tree. Yep, Ringo Award nominee. Well, that's very cool, Chase, that you were a part of that. So, Chase, I'm going to direct this question to you. When your dad takes ideas like these and then makes them come to fruition, makes a book out of them, publishes them, and then, like he said, they've got great success. How does that make you feel?
Well, usually it makes me feel good that my idea is doing well.
Yeah, right. I mean, anytime we're a creator and we see people not only interested in our products but willing to spend money on them, that's a great feeling because that shows that they've got support for us and faith in what we do. So kudos to you for coming up with these great ideas and being the brains behind the operation.
That is really cool.
So in addition to what you see here, we've got Mark, tell us about this one.
Sure. So I used to do a line of children's books about pro wrestling. And that one, Eddie Edwards, he's a professional wrestler for Impact Wrestling. We did 2 books with Eddie Edwards. I did a book with Cowboy James Storm, a few others. If you follow me on Twitter or YouTube, I'm a huge wrestling fan. So
Oh, yeah.
Chase actually helped on that book right there. He inked a couple pages. He's got a steady hand for a little kid.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's really cool.
You're getting him ready to take the family business and run with it.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So what about this one? 'Twas the Hunt Before Christmas. My wife Deanna would be interested in that one because she's the hunter in the family.
So,
know it.
so Chase wasn't involved in this one. This was actually one where a friend of my wife told one of her friends that I would draw her husband's book. So I got my wife let me out to this other family, and I drew his book, and it's about a hunter going out on Christmas Eve, and he falls asleep in his tree stand, and when he wakes up, he sees Santa and his deer.
Oh.
and he takes a shot at one of the deer. He misses.
Oh, no.
I was just going to say his moral dilemma is whether or not to draw a bead on Rudolph.
Yeah. Santa's not pleased with him. And a lot of people at Comic Cons, when I had copies of that out on my table, they gave me some dirty looks.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh boy!
It's like,
Well, that's fun.
humor?
What's that, Kat?
It's edgy stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, where's their sense of humor?
Right? Yeah. People need to get thicker skins. Doggone it! It's just a joke. Come on. All right, and then up here a little ways. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Oh yeah. So how about the creation of haiku? You talked about this one briefly. You said it's a series of children's books. Did Chase have any involvement in that?
Well, sort of. So I started making that book when my wife became pregnant with Chase. I wanted to have some products that were suited for him, because at the time I was writing like Evangeline for Image. And sexy women comics aren't
Yeah, right.
appropriate for little kids.
Right.
Maybe,
You wanted
maybe.
some all ages stuff.
Yeah. So that was the inspiration. Just becoming a father, and Chase. Once he became old enough to like realize what I did, he became very interested in everything. He drew a pinup for Haiku, and we had Haiku hats, and he was the model for him.
Oh, excellent. That's a great idea. Okay, so in addition to that, the items. I'm sorry, am I interrupting somebody?
Chase is just asking me if we still have the Haiku masks and hats.
Oh, you had masks.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Very cool.
that's cool.
When you add things like that to a campaign, things that are not just a tchotchke, but something that's a direct tie-in to the product, I think that those are the kinds of add-ons that go a long way. With Mavericks by Nefarious and Global Frequency Studios, where he's got the ammo box, for example, or somebody's got a fridge magnet like Bancroft with his ginger root hand.
Oh, right.
That you put that on your fridge. It's a direct tie-in, and it reminds you of the book every time you go get a snack or something. So those tie-ins, the masks. I know that the Siegenthalers, when they did their book Skits, they had a cutout mask in the box that they send. The Gemini mailer actually had a cutout so you could put on the Skits mask.
No,
So those are clever ideas that really tie into the books, and I'm trying to always think about things like that with my campaigns. And speaking of campaigns, the ones that I'm more familiar with, Mark and Chase working on together, is this character here, Sea Dog. So if you guys could tell me about that, how that came to be, I think Sea Dog is a clever idea, and I love that. Just like Clark Kent, nobody can tell.
Yeah. That's my favorite part about it. So one of my other projects, Graveyard Shift, insanely successful, and Chase got all wrapped up in the success of Graveyard Shift, and he was like, "Dad, I want to make something cool. I'm tired of making these kiddie books. I want to make something cool." I was like, "All right, let's brainstorm and come up with an idea," and we came up with Sea Dog. But at the same time, artist Clint Holinsky reached out to me. I've known Clint for quite a while. We both worked together at Arcana Studio back in, I don't know, late probably like mid 2000s. And he asked if I would be interested in doing a book with him. I said, well, I was like, you can say no, but my son and I have this crazy idea about a dog superhero whose alter ego is he's a dog rapper, and no one knows that he's the same person. And Clint was like, well, he goes, sure, but can we add my characters? And that's codename Kill Switch.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to get Sea Dog out there, sort of get the concept. Chase and I, we have plans. We want to do like a Sea Dog solo book that comes with a plushie. So that's something down the line.
I was gonna say, are you talking about the plushie?
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You know what? That will be a big hit, Chase. I'm sure of it. Yep. Everybody's going to want
That's
that
awesome.
plushie.
Remember the hike.
So this is, you know what? The interesting thing about this, everybody, is that this is Sea Dog and Codename Kill Switch 2. So there was also this one, Sea Dog and Codename Kill Switch, where Sea Dog was a member of the team, or at least an ally of them. So as you can see, that this is wildly successful enough that there is 2 issues of this, which I think, speaks, highly of the character. So I'm going to scroll down. I think it was this one where you had, right here, where you've got the who is. So, the great thing about it is, so one is a rapper, and I think what you told me before, Mark, I don't want to step on your toes, but their names aren't quite the same, the secret identity with the superhero.
Yeah. To throw people off even more, Sea Dog, the hero, spells his name SEADOG, and it's because he's one of his superpowers is he can turn into a fish or any sea creature he wants. But when he's a rapper, to throw people off, he spells the name differently, and it's the letter C, DAWG.
A perfect disguise.
So nobody knows that this humanoid dog is both Sea Dog and Sea Dog. I love it.
Mask on, mask off.
Yeah, right. So nobody can tell them apart. That's awesome. So how did tell me how this book went as far as success and your reception of the combination of Clint's characters here with Codename Killswitch and Sea Dog as either a member or an ally.
Yeah, so Sea Dog's an ally. He's not an official part of Codename Killswitch.
Okay.
So, like, I think one of the great things is like we've established like both of these brands. If we want to, we could stay together or we can go separate ways because Clint's killing it too, doing his own campaigns with his books, Blue Bombshell and
Yes.
Pirate Queen. So it was a great way to get Clint into the community, and now he's killing it on his own.
Oh, he is everywhere. I love his work on the Pirate Queen, the Blue Bombshell. I think you know why I probably love that one. I guess we don't talk about that right now. Let's keep this family friendly, but you probably can get the idea if you're watching, because Clint draws the sexy ladies. I'll just go by that quickly. but he also draws some beefcake too. These are the guys in the group. So, they're up there with their muscles and all that. So that's great.
Yeah, no, Chase gives me a hard time about some of the ladies in the Sea Dog books, and I said, "I'm sorry, Chase. We'll do the solo Sea Dog book, and that'll be
right.
That'll be a little more wholesome."
Now this one is a great picture that's appropriate. It's a close up of Sea Dog, and who is this that they're all fighting?
So it's a giant kaiju, and Chase, you designed the kaiju, right? Yeah.
Oh, tell us about that, Chase.
So when we were trying to create a monster for them to defeat in the book,
Mm-hmm.
I had an idea for like a giant dragon-looking thing with 3 heads.
Okay.
So I just got out my sketchbook and drew a few sketches. And
excellent! Wow. So this dragon is like reminiscent of like a hydra, or I can kind of see like a plant like theme to it. Did you have that in mind when you created this one?
Well, you're a big Stranger Things fan, aren't you? For the hands, they have like sort of the.
Oh yeah, the hands kind of look like the Demogorgon mouth.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Very cool.
Or like a grick.
Or that's what I made
Oh.
them.
Pierson drawing on the Dungeons and Dragons mythos with talking about the grick that we used to face when we played D&D. I used to run. I used to run D&D games for my boys. He and his brother Clark, who used to come to the house and we'd play Dungeons and Dragons. We're also big Magic the Gathering players, so we keep all this nerd stuff in the family, and we wear it proud, man. We've got it like a badge
And
on our sleeve.
even though you guys probably will also tease him for this, but I am the one slowly corrupting him with the weeb knowledge, as I scarily call it. I'm the one who is his influence.
Whenever I talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with the stand, where it's like this being behind them that has a song that represents them, that was the one way he knew he could hook me into it, because I was a disc jockey for a few years at a radio station. So he knew as soon as he brought in, but we've got Freddie Mercury, we've got Kiss, we've got Queen, I'm like, wait, what?
Gold experience.
So yeah, he's making me a weep, guys, save me.
And this
It's too late. It's too late.
It sounds like it's too late. Okay.
I've also been recently telling him about one that I'm planning to learn more about that my friends have been talking about, My Hero, which before the show, so I was just coming in here like, hi, who are you guys? I like quickly flicked through everybody, and I noticed that Kat, you like Bakugo, he's from My Hero. So I was like, oh, hey, that's cool.
Now, are you using that as an abbreviation for My Hero Academia?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people
My Hero.
MHA,
Yeah, that's a series that she's actually getting me into that series now. So
I've been trying to get him into
It's
it
like
too.
once you start talking about it,
yeah,
really fast,
I'm like 3 seasons
whole
and
thing is
3
a lot.
movies behind.
Oh my gosh! So she's introducing you to the weebery as well. It's it's a plague.
Well,
he was the one that originally introduced it to me, but then I deep dove.
yeah.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like, hey, look at this. You
Yep.
went right in.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All
She's
right.
all the way in the door, so I'm just like, I'll just follow along.
That's my
Okay.
goal.
Fine.
We also should mention, though, that Mark and Chase have yet another project that they worked on somewhat recently, and that's Bazooka Dog. Um,
Yeah.
Okay.
so if you could tell us about this one, you've got
This is just
not
an
only,
awesome name.
isn't it though? I mean, it's an awesome name. It's a fun idea, but then he got a big name in comic books to draw it for them as well. But I'll let Mark explain that, or Chase, or both.
Yeah, so Chase, so the Bazooka Dog book is part of the U.S. Assassin universe, and Chase is a big part of the creative team for that. He co-created Bazooka Dog. He and I were playing Legos, and we took a Lego German Shepherd and put a Lego bazooka on it, and we just cracked ourselves up and was like, look, Bazooka Dog. And, I posted it on Facebook, and the artist of U.S. Assassin, Mike McMahon, he saw it and he said, "Oh, he should be in the book." He was joking. I took him serious, and I was like, "Yeah, he's going to be part of the book." And I know a lot of people, when they first heard about Bazooka Dog, they thought he was a little silly, but then they read the book, and now I think he's probably everyone's favorite character in the U.S. Assassin series. I mean, he's
part of the lore now.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then check this out.
Yeah, so
transition.
Check him out. It's like it's sweet.
Jason and I drew the cover, but my buddy Renzo Rodriguez drew the interior pages for the story. And it's awesome. Basically, Bazooka Dog is like a Swiss Army knife version of a dog. Like whatever it started out with, he can pop a bazooka out of his back because he's part cyborg. Well, he can pop anything out of his back,
including a Slurpee.
Including a Slurpee, if you can see.
Oh yeah, right down there in the bottom right.
Yeah, but there's bombs, boxing gloves. I keep joking that eventually there's going to be a kitchen sink coming out of his back.
Go gadget dog.
I know, right?
Yeah. So Chase was part of the creation of Bazooka Dog. We wrote this story together, and he created Slither, who started out as a villain of U.S. Assassin all by himself. I think you were 7, and I had my office upstairs, and you wanted to draw something for my office.
I remember what happened. We had these big papers, and I wanted you to trace me. So I laid on it, and you traced me, and then you helped me design it, and I told you what I wanted.
Yeah. So Chase created this snake man with 3 snakes for a tongue, and he had chains wrapped around his wrist. He had
to look like he broke out of jail.
Yeah, he had an orange prison jumpsuit, and again, I posted him on Facebook, and Mike was serious this time. He said he needs to be part of the book, and I was like, he's in. And we loved Slither so much that we were like, he can't be a villain. He needs to be. We need to redeem him and make him part of the team. So he joins the U.S. Assassin team in Volume 3.
Who do you think is a better one that I created, Bazooka Dog or Slither?
Oh man, that's tough. I gotta go with Bazooka Dog though.
My vote's Bazooka Dog. Pierson?
Bazooka Dog's already got my attention.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's unanimous.
Unanimous. Awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about
cool,
Bazooka Dog plushies too, and I was like, well, how do you do the bazooka? And I'm thinking maybe he has a zipper on his back, and the little pouch is just filled with a bunch of like foam weapons, like grenades, bombs, stuff like that.
Really cool.
Or actually, those little things you could. Sorry, Chase. Go ahead. What?
I said it didn't even have to be like little plushy toys inside it. It could be like plastic ones.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly where I was going with that. You're right. You just have to make sure the tag says "Beware of choking hazard."
Yeah.
Because you're sure that somebody's going to stick that in their mouth. Kids do.
Or another option, you could make it like a small backpack, like a small kids backpack that the middle has those little toys or plushes inside of those things, but make him look like a little backpack. So he's like sitting on your back, and his back opens up into the other stuff.
That'd be awesome.
That could be too. Yeah.
Or the backpack looks like the bazooka.
Yeah, or that.
And then the bazooka opens up to like more stuff.
Hanging off the stuff.
That's a great idea. Mark.
You empty it out. Technically, you
over
could
there,
put a
right?
Slurpee coming
Yeah,
out.
I'm taking notes.
Right. So I got to ask, and I think whoever did it was absolutely right. Who came up with the cats are the evil ninjas? Because that's absolutely correct about cats.
Close to the evil and ninja part.
I'm not sure. The cat ninjas.
I don't think it was me.
Yeah.
I remember just randomly you were like, we added cat ninjas as the villain.
It just felt right. It just felt right.
You know what? It makes sense to me. I got to be honest.
So
All right, great.
So that's like a kiddie version of like Bazooka Dog. In the main story, though, those cat ninjas, their master is actually the cat of the new villain we're introducing in this series. So it sort of ties into the main series.
Oh, do the cats kind of split off into the three ninjas?
Yeah.
Refuse into one cat that sits on his lap.
So what you're saying is that Bazooka Dog's not only part of your U.S. Assassin campaign, but is also canon to U.S. Assassin?
Yeah, he's part of the team.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's basically U.S. Assassin sidekick.
I love that. That's excellent that you made him part of it. Very good. Kudos to you guys for that one.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so Bill and Kat, let's have a look at something that you guys worked on together.
Yeah, minus the cat. The dog that we have that's running around the floor right now apparently ran down the stairs, so that's why she left for a second.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Bill.
We have a very vicious long-haired mini Dotson. And, he apparently had to go outside right now, so that's apparently where she's at.
I totally understand that. I try to never stream when I'm home alone with Cinder, because when she's got to go, I got to say, well, okay, talk amongst yourselves, because
I know, right? It's like I'll be back.
Cinder demands it.
And you know, the way our yard is set up, I can't just let her out the back door. I've got to go take her to a pen, which is across the property. So it's
Gotcha.
more than a minute when I've got to go take her. Anyway, let's go to this now and talk about, as you can see here, this campaign run by Don Chin, a longtime comic book creator who created, some of you may remember, adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters. And
there you go. That's a mouthful.
If I'm right, Bill, you were the artist back then too, weren't you?
No, that was right before we had actually connected. I connected with Don back in 91, 92.
Okay.
And we co-founded
So what did you first do with him?
The very first thing I did with him was actually, and it wasn't, this is how I actually met him. He was the writer on a parody that I was penciling for Eclipse Comics.
Okay.
That was actually my very first comic book, like my actual comic book gig. And it was for X-Farce. It was for X-Farce for Eclipse.
Yeah, okay.
So that was our very first thing. He happened to be the writer on it. I happened to be the penciler. A friend of mine, Bob Hannon, was the inker. And that's how we met. That's, and that was right after all of his, once the hamsters hit really well for him, and he was quite busy. And that's when I met him, just right after he had done a bunch of things with the hamsters, and had Sam Keith working on things for him and a bunch of other things. So that's where I stepped in.
See, that's great to hear of a rapport that's been going on for that long. You guys have been friends that long.
Crazy,
working
right?
Together. Yeah. It is crazy,
Yeah.
but awesome to hear that, because oftentimes when you get a writer and an artist together, one of them is likely to just flake out. I got to be honest, it happens.
Well, not everything clicks. Yeah, no, not everything clicks, and it's
Right.
It's less often than more often. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's usually it's a one and done kind of thing. It's like it's a job, whatever. But we did I did 3 different parodies for Eclipse, and after I had done that third one, we did one called Illegal Aliens. We did one that was like a spoof of like Sandman. He had given me a call saying that he wanted to do parodies on his own. So we got together. He lives there again. He lives in Eureka, California, and I lived in San Diego, and we both moved to Virginia Beach on the East Coast. I have family out here. And we started our studio and basically did parody press for almost a decade.
All right. Wow, great. Yeah, I used to buy parody press when I was buying pretty much everything I could get my hands on. Of course, that was before I had any kids. Thanks, Pierson.
You see what happened?
I know it's not your fault. It'd be more my fault.
Hey, it's what we signed up for, right? It's like
You signed up for that roller coaster.
The interesting thing now is that my daughter is 24, so all these different stages leading up to like the kind of things we joke around about, the kind of stand-up comedy we listen to, the kind of books that we're working on right now. It's crazy compared to, she was a kid, so we're doing like, really kid-friendly things and children book type of things. And now she's working on our Nira X books, and she's working on graphic novels for a company called Storyboard. They were based out of Los Angeles. And she does like 200-page graphic novels. She's coloring and working all the time. So it's quite the journey. So it's cool to see everybody's kids here like at different stages. Like, so it's fun to see that. And it's fun to see that people like us, our kids have an artistic outlet for when they do have a crazy idea. And they got something, they want to, I just think that's really unique and special. So I'm glad that brought us together as a group for what we're talking about tonight.
It's definitely fun to hear about that, to see it in action, to see them successful. And to see them. And now when I say them, I don't mean the campaigns. I mean the kids growing up to be able to do
That's
this.
A big deal.
Choose to be, a full-time job. I'd love for this to become my full-time job, but if you can already do that, more power to you. Kudos for the job you're getting with the 200 and some page graphic novels. I could see a day that this could be a full-time job. It's not there yet, but I mean, I just dipped my foot into it. My first campaign just fulfilled, and I've got two more campaigns coming up right now. So, hopefully I'll get there. So this one here, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bill.
No. I was actually just following right along with what you were saying. So okay. Please continue.
So this one here, also for Don Chin, is called Beardzzzerker, and some of you may be familiar with the fact that Keanu Reeves wrote or co-wrote or ghost wrote or something, a comic book called Berserk. And Don, being the parody guy he is, created this one called Beardzzzerker. And the Beardzzzerker, as the story goes, his beard gets bigger and bigger and bigger or longer, and then it can do things. It's like it's prehensile. It can grab things and stuff. So
it's the power of the beard.
That's right. Whoa. Whoa. So as you can see up here, wait a little bit further. 32-page book written by Don, drawn by Bill Mouse, colored by Cat Mouse. So it's cool that you guys worked together on this one.
It was a lot of fun.
Is this a piece that you both did together? So most of these, I think, that we'll see.
Not that directly underneath it. The interior pages that you see directly underneath it. There you go.
This here? Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
All right, cool. So, this one here, I don't know how close this is to it, but this reminds me of Damage Control from Marvel. Just the
I could see that. I could see that a little bit. Yeah.
I guess particularly because the fact that they're carrying a girder, because like the 1 or 2 issues I have of Damage Control, I only own them because She-Hulk's in it. And she's carrying a girder for that. So
if there's not a steel girder in a comic book, I don't know. I feel like it's missing something.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So as you can also see, Beardzzzerker is a rock star hero, right?
Yeah. It's like the way he's got it set up, because he wrote the book and we started working on it before the graphic novel actually came out. So it's not a direct parody of the Berserker graphic novel. It's more like Don wrote a tour de farce of like all the pop culture kind of things that we know about Keanu. So that's where all the humor is coming from, and that's where all the gags are coming from. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I love that this character is called Cat Stevens. For those of you in my generation, you know who that
is. And he's not a tiny cat.
I thought it was a play on the fact that Keanu Reeves. I thought it was a play on the fact that John Wick has a dog and that's Keanu, and this one has a cat instead.
A little bit. No, you're on the right track. Yep.
So on this cover, some of you may know that a guitar is often referred to as an axe. So he's got a powerful axe, and he's fighting Ethan Van Sciver's Vespus on this cover here with all these bees. And then let's see, a little bit further down, we've got a mashup with She. And Bill, this one's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, that one is mine. It's Billy Tucci was nice enough to. I think this is the first time that we've ever asked permission to put the actual character instead of a parody version of the character
Okay.
on the
All right.
cover or in the story of any of our books, any of our parody press books. So I thought that was really nice of him. That was super cool of him to let us do that. So it's not like a parody version of She. It's actually officially
Actual
She
legitimate
with
permission.
our ridiculous collection of characters.
Right. And I see.
Swinging away at stuff.
I remember that there was a vote as to which of the covers would be used. Basically, it had to do with what this guy was saying. So in this one, he says, "Holy she," that's her name. What was the other option? Do you remember?
I forgot because I voted for this one. I was on this one
Oh,
the
yep,
whole time.
me too.
So it's like,
Yep, I
yeah,
figured
the other one, the other one
the
felt. I remember the other one
Hogan.
felt a lot more safe, a lot more watered down. I was just like, no, this one.
Not quite as edgy, right? And you're right. Billy Tucci's a great guy. I think it's cool that he let you use the real character She, and also too, I just got my digital version of the omnibus in my email, and wow, I mean, just going through those pages again. A lot of them I actually have the floppy that came out at originally, but to have it all in that, I can't wait to get that. And I got to sneak it in the house because it's, I'm going to get in trouble with all these people that are fulfilling all of a sudden. It's like, wait, slow down.
Back up the truck.
Spread 'em out.
You're going
Spread
to
'em
get in
out.
trouble.
I ordered all the 90s stuff.
Right. And then there's a cover down here that is a Rainbow the Brute. This is by Preston Acevedo. And
Which
this is another. Go ahead.
technically, I was just going to say, technically, this is actually the first in-print appearance of Rainbow the Brute.
Oh yeah, because the
So
book wasn't out.
Ethan was like super, like again, he was super nice, gracious, letting us use the character on the cover. But the way this book is already in print, I'm not sure when Rainbow the Brute is going to be actually coming out, what their schedule is, what their print schedule is. So this one came out first, so it's actually technically the first in print appearance of the character. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And he's just like He-Man. He's riding Cat Stevens as if he's Battle Cat.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. And there's even more covers. This one here, a lot of times when you're playing a guitar riff or a guitar solo, it's called shredding your axe. So that's what he's doing here. Yep, he's the shredder. So yep, this is the Martian cover. So this is very Kirby-esque. I like that cover a lot too.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. That's what attracted Don to that artist. It was just like, he had to have that cover, and I saw it, and I was just like, oh yeah, totally. That's really cool. That's a lot of fun.
It's very nostalgic. And then this one here looks so much like a movie poster. I mean, this looks like Norm Macdonald. This looks like Michael Douglas. We've got what's his name? Billy something. He was in Hitman.
Yeah, and Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, Timothy Oliphant. Right.
Yep.
This looks like George Carlin over here.
Yeah,
and Halle Berry.
He was in Star Wars most recently. He was that sheriff from that town wearing the Boba Fett armor.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then of course, this one.
But yeah, Thad Rhodes. Yeah, Thad Rhodes, the artist on this. This is what he specializes in. He usually a lot of his artwork is on like sports apparel and urban, like lots of streetwear, lots of. It's a clothing company that he works for, and he does a lot of publishing, like a lot of freelance stuff for us over the years. Like I've known him since high school, and this movie poster kind of realistic look is like that's his thing. So that's definitely his wheelhouse.
That kind of leads me to ask then, and you would know if you've known him that long, is there any special dispensation he has to get in order to do a likeness that's so close to, let's say, George Carlin, for example? Because I remember a time where they used the likeness of Amy Grant in the background on a Doctor Strange cover, and they got sued pretty heavily for that. Well,
the whole umbrella of parody as a First Amendment right to be able to do. We're doing it as a parody. If he had done a George Carlin in the background of one of my Nira X books, and it really looks like George Carlin, and I don't have permission to use George Carlin's likeness, then I think I would be in trouble for that. But in the end, in the umbrella of parody, if we're actually doing something that's funny, we're making fun of something, and plus we have a track record. We've been around. We've been publishing parodies for years. So it's not like we came out of the blue trying to cash in on Halle Berry's likeness, for a certain character in the background or something like that.
No, that's a good point. And
it's under
you've
parody.
got the word parody right on the cover, and if they do any due diligence, you're right. They'll be able to look and see that you've been around a while doing parodies. So
yeah, they read the first couple of word balloons. They know it's not a serious comic book. It's definitely a parody. It's a pop culture parody of something. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw this, and Don was either on our show or maybe it was when it was launched, and I saw this cover. I was real concerned. I'm like, oh no, don't get in trouble, Don. I like you. And then there's a US,
giggles, man.
and then here's the greatest sort of like crossover based on the guests that we have.
It's good that we have Mark with us.
That's right. It's a U.S. assassin crossover for this cover, where we've got who? Cat Stevens with who? Bazooka Dog.
There you go. There you go.
That's so awesome. Yep. So you see that
couldn't have planned it better myself.
I know, it's almost as if the host of the show thought about that and thought to get the four of you on. Can't imagine where he came up with that idea.
I have no idea.
So I heard you mention it a couple times. So let's go over to Nira X. I've got it to bring up on the screen, but this is issue 2. I know that in our chats beforehand, you said that the two of you, you and Kat, will be working on issue 3. Kat, I'm going to turn to you this time and point the question at you. What about issue 3? Are you guys working together on? Is it art and color?
Yep, the same thing that it has been with the previous books, where it's like he writes it and he draws it, inks it, and then I'm the one that does all of the colors. Usually for the covers and for the interiors is usually what I do. And
so
for
this isn't a new collaboration. This is something that you've been doing for the first 2 issues as well.
Oh yeah,
I get. Okay, great. All right, cool.
And then I usually do my own variant cover. That's just all me.
Yep.
So is there one to look at here for number 2?
I believe so. Let me see. Let me see if there's a picture. I don't know if we added it as an add-on later in the campaign or if it was already pictured.
So we've got this one.
That was that's the main edition or the main company edition one.
Okay, this looks like a variant, but this is still you, Bill, right?
Right, that's still me there. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Here's a third.
There's her cover right there. Yep.
Whoa. I like this
one.
Little
bit more, a little bit more sassy than some of the other things we've done.
Right. So I got to ask, since this is my first exposure to Nira X, when you launch number 3, is there going to be a catch-up tier?
Yeah, I think there needs to be, because and we do have just enough overstock printed already that I think there'll be a limited amount of where you can just pick up all 3 issues as a tier. So yeah, they'll definitely do something like that. I'm leaving all of that thought process up to the publisher, up to Committed. So Thomas, if you're watching,
right, get on that. You've got people who are clamoring for that.
Get on that. Hint, wink, wink. Just like
it's already been in
Luckily, he keeps track of all the tiers and stuff. I'm just concentrating on the creative. So
okay, great.
You'll notice when I do a campaign on my own, all by myself, because there'll be like 3 tiers. It'll be like it'll be the most vanilla campaign you've probably ever seen. So it's just to keep it simple for my brain.
And it'll be me running it.
Yeah, and it'll be her running it.
It'll be her. Okay. Yeah.
Luckily, she actually has a left brain and a right brain. She gets the left one from her mom. So
good.
The right, yeah.
So
I lucked out.
Oh, yeah. Mark, I wanted to ask you about this next part, and that is, a lot of times in your previous campaigns, I've seen you go from pretty complex back to simple. So, and I recently learned on my campaign, I went pretty complex on my first one. I had 6 variant covers. I had add-ons and stretch goals and all these things. For my next campaigns, I've brought it down to a more manageable campaign. What can you tell me about your experience in that kind of thing as far as complexity?
When it comes to anything like that, because you have not particularly been running your Kickstarters, it's usually been either me or someone else that actually runs the main campaign.
Oh yeah, we got lucky. But what let's hear from Mark.
With mine, I usually try to keep it to one variant and a black and white edition. But I get crazy. Like I had the ammo case for the last U.S. Assassin one, so I'm always like looking. Yep, Chase is pointing it out in the background. I'm always like scouring the internet looking for things that I can customize and use as my campaign. So I don't know. That's one of the things I like. Being my own boss, I can, you know, I can pretty much, you know, do what I want. If I see something cool, yeah, like the moral compass Lego figure, you know, I'll give it a try. And see how it goes.
Well, do you have a good sized left side of your brain where you're good at organizing? And because I think the question comes from like from coming from my perspective, it's once it gets complicated past a certain point, don't even want to deal with it because it's, you know, it's time consuming. And so as far as the complexity of your campaigns, like how do you feel about, you know, when you're adding in a lot of different tiers and you have to keep track of everything versus simplifying it and making it a little bit more streamlined? How do you feel?
I'm pretty organized. I'll go through like the backer, the perk, the different perks, and I'll like make a list of how many packages that are just like cover A or cover B, cover A and B, and that's how I'll package up everything based on those numbers, and then I'll print the labels based on that. I'll just go like one at a time. So I keep it pretty organized, and I've had pretty good success. So
yeah, I'll say for sure.
That's cool.
That is very cool. Yes. So, Kat, did you have anything to add as far as the complexity of the campaign? I know you started to. I didn't want to cut you off there, but you know, we wanted to get Mark to chime in on that one.
I just have to take my headphones on and off like this because I'm catching like the extra.
Oh, the extra.
Yeah. So I might not hear something on accident.
Oh, okay.
But sorry, I have this guy on my lap.
Oh,
I didn't want him to fall.
Oh, it's the attack dog. Nice.
It's the attack dog.
Yes.
This is Waffle.
Hold up the weapon.
What's the dog's name?
Waffle.
Waffle. Nice.
Waffle Alexander Mouse.
Yes. We hope to do like funny comic strips or like a children's book with him soon, since he is an endless source of comedy.
For sure.
That's what animals are.
Our pup has a middle name too. Her first name is Cinder. Her middle name is Ella. And then her last name is my wife's last name. So yeah, so she's Cinderella.
Oh,
that's cool. Cool. That works.
So what I'd like to talk about now is Pierson's involvement with Dojo Kun comics. You can see him repping the brand there with one of our T-shirts.
Oh yes,
but,
I had to.
That's right. Yeah, you bet. But in addition to that, he's also had some input on some characters too. So the first one I'm going to bring up, I'll go back to sharing my screen once I bring up, let me see here. I know you can't see this part yet because I haven't started sharing. Yeah, no, you can't see it because I haven't shared it yet. So I'm going to do this, and then I'll go back to StreamYard, and come on. You get a appreciation for those people who can do so many of these things all at once. Okay, so I'm going to share this one first. So I joined a campaign where the creator took some of your characters and made them into playable cards in a game. So this one here, they've got an attack of +9. But as you can see, this is a set of characters that Pierson came up with. I tweaked a little bit, but Pierson, why don't you explain to them who the animates are?
Animates. So you helped flesh out much of the details, but long time ago, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but we had come up with the concept of if there was like a couple or a married couple as they became, who would travel around the world and like just looking for all kinds of unusual or rare animals, because they were both zoologists and a little bit of paleontologists, and they would find these animals, and their power is based off of whatever animals they've come in contact with, and they turn into lycanthropes of that animal.
Right. So you're I'm sure you're familiar with werewolves and werebears, were-tigers. Well, I mean, they could be a were-giraffe if the artist could figure out how to make that work.
On the neck or something.
So in this game, they can take the wear form of any animal in the vicinity, and any animal-inspired opponent gets a -5 to their attack. Now, that part is part of the game that, you know, I entered them as part of their campaign. But, you know, this is this artist's rendition of the character. But I've also got this one here, which is a great representation of the couple. And this is by an artist called, who goes by the name Zanditz. And then another very prolific artist did this one here for a, it was a contest that anytime you have duos, he would make their sketch for you and color it and then put it in like a group of 5, and then people would vote. And the Animates didn't win that round, but they came in second, which I was pretty proud of. And this person who did this is Gilbert Monsanto out of the Philippines. And I'm so enamored with his stuff that I've had him do literally a few dozen of my characters. And I've been saving, every time he posts it on Facebook, I save the characters he's done to a file on my computer. I'm not going to do anything with them except, you know, share them with friends and family and things like that, because I'm just so enamored with his work. But I literally have 1,700 sketches that he's done of various indie comics characters.
No,
He's
I do have one
wild.
for you, Dad. Is it up on the
That's pretty
screen
wild.
right now? Right now,
Well,
I just see you guys.
You can't see it? My bad. So there you go. I did boomer it. Let me
Yeah,
go back to
I was trying to
StreamYard.
catch you, but I didn't want
Right.
to cut you off.
Right.
It's all
So
good. It's all
yeah,
good.
I should have been showing
Yeah.
you this. This is
Yeah,
Gilbert
yeah,
Monsanto's. And this one, let's see. This one here is Zanditz.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, the one that was the trading card.
Very cool.
I very much like these two.
Yeah, this is great. So basically, their origin started out with a goddess who wanted to prove herself. She's a new goddess to the pantheon in Rome, and so she wanted to prove herself. Her name is Clover. What she did was she placed gems around in various places around the earth, and when people find them, she's basically placed them where she knows who will find them. And so these two found a pair of gems that gave them their powers. So when they pick them up concurrently, and they happened to be touching one another at the time because she was leaning over and he was helping her reach down for it. So they both got the same powers, and they can both do as Pierson described.
Which is a very cool concept. I love it so much.
So next, Pierson, what I'd like you to do is talk about the character you just created as we were talking about coming on this show.
Indeed, like not very long ago, an idea hit me, and I told him as he was bringing me up here for this like week, and he was like, "What?" I came up with a villain for those two and for his world in general. I haven't thought of his more to his backstory to come, but the concept, he's called ThermoStat. He is a former like scientist, possibly thermonuclear, and in some kind of accident, half of his face gets melted in a irreparable way. And he goes and builds, using his scientific past, builds cybernetics for his face that allow him to scan things with his eye that lets him detect weak points in structures, objects, and people, and anything really, as well as their melting or boiling point and their freezing point. And then with his actual powers, which could have led into his accident, he can, as long as he is remaining in line of sight of that thing, he can change its temperature, like its degrees, like either direction. For every second, he can raise or lower the temperature of that thing to either end, absolute zero or to infinite heat.
So it's like my house where my wife touches the thermostat. She's constantly turning it down.
Yes, it was kind of also like, and the reference of it, how slow it is a kind of a reference to how like you adjust it, and also
Right.
thermostat, because statistics of the eye.
Yep, I thought that was a good play on words. So I'm going to capitalize the S in thermostat's name, just so it stands apart. And then we've just got a few more minutes. So what I want to do is I want to show you a huge surprise that I got yesterday. Pierson and I, along with my wife Deanna, we drove up to visit my oldest son Clark and his wife Kenzie. And Kenzie surprised me. I gotta be honest. I had no idea she was, number one, talented like this, and number two, doing this for me. So this is the first reveal on screen about this. But this is a painting she did for Dojo Kun Comics. I'm trying to do it so there's not too much of a glare. But it's
awesome.
my characters, many of my characters here in the middle, going to a movie theater. Siamese are here at the top. That was the campaign I just fulfilled. She's got little copies of all 6 of my Siamese covers. You can see them this way here
3D.
in
They have little
3D,
flaps.
right? A couple other covers. She's got a cherry blossom. Let me see if I can do this right. Over here, a little bit further. And I've got a character named Sakura, which is Japanese for cherry blossom. And then way over here, she's got the Toro, which is the stone lantern that appears in my company's logo. Yeah, exactly.
That is so cool. Yeah.
It's so great that she included so many little details that had to do with my our characters. And, you know, this was a labor of love. She took a long time to do this. It's multimedia, as you can tell, because these covers are like, they're standing out. They're 3D. The Deanna's hammer has a big key on it to give it more depth. These petals on the Sakura are actual like little pieces of ribbons or flowers. So I wanted to give her kudos for that, because this is really an awesome. And you guys will see this more if you come watch my show, because it'll be on the wall behind me in my streaming room.
Yeah, he was talking about like, oh, I know exactly where this is going.
I'm totally
so
proud
did
of this. So
Yeah,
that's
so
another.
nice.
That's
That's
another
great.
thing, you know, that, you know, keeping it like, you know, family showing support for, you know, making my dream a reality. In fact, she's got a note that came with it that said that very thing, that she's so proud that I'm able to do
that's
this.
really cool.
You know,
That's
so yeah,
Mhm.
it's very cool of her.
Right.
You know, it was
Right.
it was funny. I got a little touched. My wife started crying.
I was just sitting there
When I
going,
opened it.
and she was worried you would like it. Why?
Right. Oh yeah, she was so concerned that I wouldn't like it. But I mean, yeah, you know, how could I not? It was such a thoughtful thing to do.
Cool.
So we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I know some folks would like some time to get something to drink before going over to watch Late Night with Comicsgate and Michael Bancroft. So I encourage you all to go over there. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, I'm very appreciative that you were here too. Hopefully you got something out of this. And I'd like to say thank you so much to my guests, Mark, Chase, thanks for being here, Kat and Bill. It was great to have you guys on. This was a fun show. It really was. It was great to talk about the way you guys worked together on these projects and the ideas and their impetus. And of course, Pierson, thanks for being my guest co-host on my 3rd show. It was a lot of fun to have you here, right here in the house, and we can talk about it beforehand and get some questions lined up. So for those of you who are in the chat, pardon?
It was an honor to meet these 4.
That's right. Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
It's great to have you on the show, everyone. Thanks for those of you who are in the chat. You know, the chat is very important. You can give us immediate feedback. And I want to just thank everyone in Comicsgate. Hey, Comicsgate, and hope to see you next week. We are going to have another episode on Wednesday at 10 p.m. So we'll see you then. Thanks, all.
See you guys.